El Paso, Texas, August 19, 1895. One shot from behind. John Wesley Hardin, the deadliest gun in Texas, drops face down at the Acme Saloon bar. 3 seconds. No duel, no warning. 15 gunslingers ranked not by legend, but by court records, coroner's files, and the newspapers printed the morning after. Which one was truly the deadliest? Is it the name already in your head? Subscribe before the countdown begins. The man who actually earned the top spot never made it into a single movie. Number 15. Bat Masterson. The man who became more famous for his pen than his pistol. Dodge City Sheriff, Buffalo Hunter, gambler, and eventually a sports writer for the New York Morning Telegraph. His documented kill count sits between 0 and 3. He was present at Adobe Walls in 1874. He may have killed one man in Sweetwater, Texas. But the legend was built by his own hand, in his own newspaper columns. Masterson died at his desk in New York in 1921, not a bullet in sight. The West's first self-promoter, and far from the last. Number 14. Doc Holliday, a dentist from Georgia with tuberculosis and a reputation that outran his record by a country mile. John Henry Holliday, dental degree from the Pennsylvania College of Dental Surgery. A death sentence already living in his lungs. Modern researchers put his kill count between 1 and 3. His fame belongs almost entirely to the OK Corral and his friendship with Wyatt Earp. He died in a sanatorium in Glenwood Springs, Colorado in 1887, 36 years old. His last words, they say, were simply, "This is funny." He had always expected to die with his boots on. Instead, he died in bed, in his socks, coughing blood. The deadliest thing about Doc Holliday was his reputation, not his revolver. Number 13. Wyatt Earp, the most famous lawman in American history, and the one whose legend rests almost entirely on a single book written 50 years after the fact. In 1931, a writer named Stuart Lake published Wyatt Earp, Frontier Marshal, with Earp's own collaboration. That book created the fearless marshal the world remembers. The truth is quieter. Wyatt was a temporary assistant marshal to his brother Virgil in Tombstone. His confirmed kills are surprisingly few. His reputation was shaped by false and conflicting stories, many of them his own. He outlived every witness who might have contradicted him. And Stuart Lake finished the job. This is our first named mythmaker. Remember that name. More are coming. Number 12. Billy the Kid. The biggest gap between legend and record on this entire list. Henry McCarty. The dime novel said he killed 21 men by his 21st birthday. The documented record says he was solely responsible for 4. He may have been involved in 5 more alongside other men. The myth started the week he died. The Santa Fe Weekly Democrat ran his obituary on July 21, 1881, and the inflation was already baked in. Then a journalist named Ash Upson ghost-wrote Pat Garrett's book the following year and locked the number at 21. Upson made it up. The folk ballads carried it from there. Billy the Kid appears in more than 50 films today. In every single one, he kills more men than the record can support. If the most famous outlaw on this list killed 4 men and not 21, then who actually earned the top? The answer is still coming. Number 11. Dallas Studenmeyer, 4 dead in 5 seconds. El Paso, Texas, April 14, 1881. Studenmeyer had been marshal for exactly 3 days. A street eruption over a body pulled from the Rio Grande left 4 men on the ground. Studenmeyer killed 3 of them himself. One was his own deputy, hit by accident. He was an alcoholic with a short fuse and a fast hand. He was ambushed and killed in a personal feud 5 months later, dead at 36. No movie, no novel, just a violent man with a badge who could shoot. Number 10. Luke Short, 5 feet 6 inches tall, a professional gambler who dressed like a banker and fought like a cornered animal. Central figure of the Dodge City War of 1883. Short is on this list because the men who lived that life feared him. Earp feared him. Masterson feared him. The men they feared never made it into the dime novels. Number 9. Clay Allison, called himself the gentleman gunfighter. There was nothing gentle about him. Confederate veteran with a possible head wound that left him unstable. At least 4 documented kills, including a knife fight fought naked in an open grave. He died in 1887, not in a gunfight. He fell off his own freight wagon and the wheel crushed his neck. The frontier did not always end its killers with a bullet. Number 8. Ben Thompson, born in Nottingham, Yorkshire, England, raised in Austin, Texas, one of the most skilled marksmen the frontier ever produced. Almost nobody alive today knows his name. Austin City Marshal. At least 4 documented kills. Bat Masterson, writing in his own column, called Thompson the most dangerous man in Texas. One gunslinger on this list calling another the deadliest of them all. Thompson was killed in an ambush at the Vaudeville Theater in San Antonio, March 11, 1884. The men who killed him made sure he did not get up. Number 7. King Fisher. When asked his tally, Fisher gave an answer that was recorded at the time. 7, he said, not counting Mexicans. That phrase tells you everything about what the frontier considered a death worth recording and what it considered nothing at all. John King Fisher. South Texas. Outlaw turned deputy sheriff of Uvalde County. Tiger skin chaps. Silver-mounted guns. Dead at 30 in that same theater ambush alongside Thompson. The dead who were not counted never made it into any legend. Number 6. Remember this one. Jim Miller, the deadliest man nobody talks about. Church, every Sunday. Never smoked, never drank. Killed for money, and no court could stop him for 25 years. James Brown Miller, born 1861. Between his first known killing in 1884 and his last in 1909, he murdered at least 15 men by conservative count. His own final number was 51. His first victim was his brother-in-law, shot with a shotgun while the man slept on his porch. Convicted. Overturned on a technicality. After that, Miller advertised openly as a killer for hire, $150 per job. He wore a long black frock coat in every weather. Underneath it, a steel breastplate. He killed Sheriff Bud Fraser by laying a shotgun across the top of a saloon door and removing most of his head. A jury acquitted him. He is the leading suspect in the murder of Pat Garrett, the man who killed Billy the Kid. Never charged. In 1909, 40 citizens of Ada, Oklahoma, dragged Miller from a jail cell and hanged him from a rafter in a livery barn. As they fitted the rope, he told them to let the record show that he had killed 51 men. No poster, no movie, no song. The man who killed more people than every famous name on this list combined. And he did it from hiding, in the dark. Remember number 6. We are coming back to him. Number 5. Harvey Logan. Butch Cassidy got the movie, but Logan did the killing. The Pinkertons called him the wildest of the Wild Bunch. He had at least 9 documented kills, many of them lawmen. Logan was the enforcer, the one they sent when a job required a bullet. He died in 1904, likely by his own hand, rather than be taken alive. The sidekick in the legend was the deadliest man in the gang. Number 4. Bill Longley. Started killing at 15. Most of his early victims were black men during Reconstruction Texas. There is no romantic reading of this one. William Preston Longley claimed 32 kills, many racially motivated. He was hanged in Giddings, Texas, October 11, 1878. The rope was measured wrong, too long. He did not break clean. He strangled slowly while the crowd watched. The frontier's violence was not always a fast draw at sunset. Much of it was ugly and quiet. Longley is the entry that will not let this list look away. Number 3. Tom Horan. He killed from 200 yards out. Most of his victims never heard the shot. Army scout, Pinkerton agent, and hired gun for the Wyoming cattle barons who wanted homesteaders gone. $500 to $600 per killing. He was convicted of shooting 14-year-old Willie Nickel, a boy who had put on his father's coat that morning and was riding his father's horse. Mistaken identity. The most damaging testimony was Horn's own words. He called it the best shot he ever made and the dirtiest trick he ever done. He was hanged in Cheyenne on November 20th, 1903. Some historians wrote that the Old West died the day they dropped that trapdoor. We are almost there now. The question you have been holding since the beginning is about to get its answer. Number 2. Wild Bill Hickok. One of the few on this list who earned a real piece of the legend. And that piece was terrifying. James Butler Hickok was born in Illinois in 1837. On July 21, 1865, he shot Davis Tutt dead in the public square at Springfield, Missouri, from 75 yards. It is often called the first quick-draw duel in the recorded West. His marksmanship was genuine. Of the men he is documented to have killed, 5 died from headshots. But then the magazine writers found him. Colonel George Ward Nichols wrote him up in Harper's Monthly in 1867 and turned one documented kill at Rock Creek Station into 10. The 100-kill stories that followed were pure invention. The real number is 6 to 8. On August 2, 1876, in a saloon in Deadwood, Jack McCall walked up behind Hickok. He put a bullet in the back of his head during a poker game. The cards in his hand became known to the world as the dead man's hand, aces and eights. Even Hickok was inflated, but under the myth there was something real. Number 1. John Wesley Hardin, the name everyone expected. Son of a Methodist preacher, named after the founder of Methodism. He killed his first man at 15. On a single cattle drive up the Chisholm Trail, he killed 7 men, 3 more in Abilene. He carried his pistols in shoulder holsters with the butts facing inward, and he drew by crossing his arms into his vest. The documented count is no fewer than 21 kills in 9 years. In 1877, at 23, he was sentenced to 24 years. He studied law behind the walls. He wrote his autobiography, released in 1894. And on that August night in 1895, John Selman found the famous gunman throwing dice at the Acme Saloon bar. Without a word, Selman walked up behind him and ended it with one shot to the back of the head. The fastest draw in Texas never saw it coming. The obvious answer: the highest body count, the fastest draw. So why does the record keep pulling me back to number 6? Lay the 2 men side by side. Hardin was impulsive, reckless, driven by rage and whiskey. He killed in the open, and he got caught. He served 16 years. He was shot in the back at 42. Miller was patient. He would ride all night, 100 miles on horses driven to collapse, all to reach a man in a town where no one knew his face. He killed from behind a fence with a shotgun. He was never convicted, not once, for 25 years. Which man was deadlier? The one who shot fast, or the one you never saw coming? The legend we carry was built by 3 sets of hands. The dime novelists who stretched a few bad years on the cattle trail into a mythology of endless slaughter. The magazine writers and the ghost writers. Nichols turned 1 Hickok kill into 10. Lake turned Earp into the greatest lawman alive. Upson turned Billy's 4 into 21. And Hollywood took every exaggeration and fixed it in light forever. From My Darling Clementine in 1946 to Tombstone in 1993, the image was locked. The noble duel at noon, the clean hat on a man who never sweated. The record gives us something else entirely. The shotgun blast through a fence at midnight, the steel plate under a church coat. Here is my answer to the question I asked at the start. The deadliest gunslinger on this list is not number 1. It is number 6, Jim Miller. The church-going man in the long black coat who killed for a quarter of a century and always walked free from the courtroom. He killed more men than Hardin and Hickok and Billy the Kid combined. The only court that stopped him was a rope thrown over a rafter by 40 ordinary people who decided the law had failed long enough. We remembered the fastest draw. We forgot the patient killer. Hollywood gave us the duel at noon. The frontier gave us the ambush at midnight. We chose the version that made a better poster. Somewhere, in a cemetery with no stone, there is a man Jim Miller killed, whose name not one soul alive can tell you. The legend never knew him. Neither did the law. And if you want the truth behind another frontier story the movies got wrong, the next one is waiting for you right now.